Have you ever heard of someone who seemed perfectly fine yesterday, walking, talking, living their normal life, only to suddenly pass away the next morning? No tragic accident, no severe illness, just gone, in an instant. Sounds shocking, doesn't it? But the truth is, this happens more often than you think. And what's even more unsettling? The cause is often something completely preventable. Let me tell you about a man named Richard. He was 71 years old, healthy, independent, and full of life. He wasn't suffering from any major disease, nor did he show any signs of serious health problems. In fact, just last night he had dinner with his family, laughing and sharing stories about his childhood. He went to bed like any other night, but this morning, he never woke up. His family was devastated. How could this happen? What went wrong? The answer might surprise you. Richard didn't die from a heart attack, stroke, or an undiagnosed illness. His passing was the result of a small but deadly mistake, one that millions of people over 70 make every single day without realizing it. And here's the most terrifying part: you might be making the same mistake right now. You see, when we think about aging, we often assume that major health issues are the result of genetics or unavoidable circumstances. But what if I told you that many people don't die because of their age, but because of the daily habits they've built over time? Tiny, seemingly harmless choices, like how you get out of bed, how you eat, how you handle stress, or even how you sit, could be silently cutting years off your life. So let me ask you this: are you sure you're living the right way? Are you confident that what you're doing every day is helping you stay healthy and active? Or could it be leading you toward an avoidable disaster? Today, I'm going to share with you 6 deadly mistakes that most people make after turning 70. These mistakes aren't just dangerous. They can shorten your lifespan, rob you of your independence, and make your final years miserable instead of fulfilling. But the good news? Every single one of them is preventable. This isn't about fear-mongering. This is about saving lives. If you stay with me until the end of this video, you'll not only discover what these mistakes are, but more importantly, how to fix them before it's too late. And trust me, the last mistake is one that 99% of people never think about, but it could be the difference between living well into your 90s or facing an early decline. Before we dive in, I want you to take just 10 seconds to ask yourself, if I continue living exactly the way I am now, where will I be in 5 or 10 years? Will I still be strong, healthy, and independent? Or will I be struggling, sick, and full of regrets? If you're not 100% sure of your answer, then this video is for you. And before we continue, take a moment to hit the like button, so I know you're here and ready to take control of your health. If you want more powerful life lessons like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could literally add years to your life. Alright, let's get started. The first mistake is something you probably do every single morning without even thinking, and it could be putting your life at serious risk. Have you ever woken up in the morning and immediately sat up, stood up, and started your day? If so, you could be putting your life at risk without even realizing it. Most people don't think twice about how they get out of bed. It's something they've done for decades. But what if I told you that this simple, everyday action has caused countless hospitalizations and even sudden deaths among older adults? Here's what happens inside your body. While you sleep, your blood pressure naturally drops, your heart rate slows, and your body goes into a state of deep rest. The moment you wake up, your body needs time to adjust. But when you suddenly sit up or stand too fast, your blood pressure can drop even further, leading to dizziness, fainting, or even a dangerous fall. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths for adults over 70. A single misstep, one moment of dizziness, could mean a fractured hip, a brain injury, or a long hospital stay that you never fully recover from. Let me tell you a quick story. David, a 73-year-old retired teacher, was in great shape. He walked daily, ate well, and had no major health issues. One morning, as usual, he sat up too fast, stood up, and suddenly blacked out. He collapsed in his bedroom, hitting his head on the nightstand. By the time his wife found him, he was unconscious. He survived, but he never fully regained his balance, and his life was never the same. And the worst part? This could have been avoided with a simple adjustment. Instead of jumping out of bed immediately, take a moment to allow your body to transition from sleep to wakefulness. When you first open your eyes, remain still for a minute, taking deep breaths and gently moving your fingers and toes to get the blood circulating. Rolling onto your side and pushing yourself up into a seated position will allow your body to adjust to the change in posture. Once seated, stay there for another minute, placing your feet flat on the ground while taking deep, steady breaths. Only when you feel completely stable should you attempt to stand up slowly, ensuring that you are fully balanced before taking your first step. This small habit could save you from a life-changing injury, or worse. Have you ever felt lightheaded after getting up too fast? Let me know in the comments. And don't go anywhere, because the next mistake might be something you do every morning that could be damaging your heart without you even knowing it. Most people don't realize that what they do first thing in the morning can have a direct impact on their heart. They think heart problems come from genetics, age, or bad luck, but in reality, one simple mistake could be slowly damaging their cardiovascular system every single day, without them even knowing it. Imagine this. You wake up, go to the bathroom, and immediately start your morning routine. But you skip breakfast or delay eating for hours because you don't feel hungry yet, or maybe you're just used to having coffee first. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. As you age, your body becomes less efficient at regulating blood sugar levels, and skipping breakfast can put enormous stress on your heart. Studies have shown that people who regularly skip breakfast have a significantly higher risk of heart attacks, strokes, and high blood pressure. When you don't eat in the morning, your blood sugar drops, forcing your body to release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This causes your heart rate and blood pressure to spike suddenly, increasing the risk of cardiovascular events, especially for those over 70. Let me tell you about Helen. She was 75, active, and always believed in listening to her body. If she wasn't hungry in the morning, she wouldn't eat. For years, she followed this routine, thinking it was harmless. One morning, she got up, had her usual cup of coffee, and went outside to tend to her garden. Minutes later, she collapsed. She had suffered a minor stroke due to a sudden drop in blood sugar and a spike in blood pressure. She survived, but the damage was done. Her balance was never the same, and simple tasks became difficult. The fix for this is simple. Even if you're not hungry, your body needs fuel after hours of fasting. Within 30 minutes of waking up, eat something light. A banana, a handful of nuts, a piece of whole grain toast, or even just a spoonful of yogurt. This small act stabilizes your blood sugar, reduces stress on your heart, and lowers your risk of sudden spikes in blood pressure. And no, coffee alone doesn't count. It can actually make the problem worse by increasing cortisol levels. So, do you usually eat breakfast, or are you guilty of skipping it? Let me know in the comments. But before you do, stay with me, because the next mistake is something almost everyone does in the bathroom, and it's far more dangerous than you think. Most people don't think twice about what they do when they use the bathroom in the morning. It's just part of the daily routine. Wake up, go to the restroom, and start the day. But what if I told you that one common habit in the bathroom has led to countless strokes, heart attacks, and even sudden deaths, especially in people over 70? Let me explain. When you wake up, your body is still, adjusting from a state of rest. Your blood pressure is fluctuating, your circulation is still catching up, and your nervous system is slowly waking up. But then, you go to the bathroom and unknowingly put extreme strain on your body. The biggest mistake? Straining too hard while using the toilet. You might not realize it, but when you push too hard, it causes a sudden spike in blood pressure, reduces blood flow to the heart, and increases the risk of fainting, strokes, and even fatal cardiac events. It's a lot more common than people think. There are countless cases where someone was found unresponsive in the bathroom simply because their heart couldn't handle the sudden pressure. You might have even heard stories of people passing away in their homes in the restroom with no apparent warning signs. This isn't just a coincidence. Take Robert, a 78-year-old grandfather who lived an active life. He walked daily, played with his grandkids, and seemed completely fine. One morning, he went to the bathroom like he always did. But when he didn't come out after 20 minutes, his wife knocked on the door. No answer. When she finally got inside, he was slumped over, unconscious. A massive stroke had taken him. So how can you avoid this silent but deadly mistake? First, never rush. Give your body time to wake up before using the toilet. Drink a glass of warm water as soon as you wake up. This helps soften stool and prevent straining. Make sure your diet includes fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains to keep things moving naturally. And if you ever feel lightheaded or pressure while using the restroom, pause, take deep breaths, and never force it. Now, I know this might not be a comfortable topic, but it's one of the most important. Have you or someone you know ever experienced dizziness or discomfort in the bathroom? Let me know in the comments. And keep watching, because the next mistake has nothing to do with physical health, but it could be the reason why so many people feel lonely, depressed, and even die sooner than they should. Aging isn't just about physical health, it's also about mental and emotional well-being. And yet, so many people unknowingly make a mistake that slowly eats away at their happiness, their energy, and even their lifespan. It's not about diet. It's not about exercise. It's about isolation. As people grow older, their social circles shrink. Friends move away. Family members get busy. Some loved ones pass on. And before they even realize it, they start spending more and more time alone. What starts as a quiet weekend here and there slowly turns into days, even weeks, without real social interaction. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. Some people even convince themselves that they prefer being alone. But here's the reality. Loneliness is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Studies show that social isolation increases the risk of dementia, heart disease, depression, and even early death. When the brain lacks meaningful human connection, it begins to deteriorate, literally. I'll give you an example. Margaret, a 76-year-old widow, used to be full of life. She was active in her community, loved gardening, and always had a smile on her face. But after her husband passed, she slowly withdrew. She stopped attending gatherings, made fewer phone calls, and spent most of her days alone at home. Over time, she felt less energetic, less motivated, and her memory started to fade. When she finally visited her doctor, they told her something shocking. Her cognitive decline wasn't just aging. It was accelerated by her isolation. But here's the good news. This mistake is 100% fixable. If you feel like your social life has gotten smaller, make a conscious effort to reconnect. Call an old friend. Join a local group, a book club, or a fitness class for seniors. Even a short, daily conversation, whether in person or over the phone, can make a massive difference in your mental and emotional health. If technology feels intimidating, ask a family member to help you set up video calls or messaging apps. It's never too late to rebuild connections. So, when was the last time you had a meaningful conversation with someone? If it's been too long, make today the day you change that. Let me know in the comments, what's one thing you'll do to stay connected? And stay with me, because the next mistake is something that people often ignore until it's too late. Most people think that if they feel fine, they are fine. They assume that as long as they aren't in pain, they don't need to see a doctor. This is one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make. Skipping regular health checkups is like driving a car without ever checking the engine. Sure, everything seems fine, until one day the car breaks down, and by then the damage is already done. Your body works the same way. Many serious conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and even cancer don't show obvious symptoms at first. By the time you notice something is wrong, the disease might already be at an advanced stage. Take John, for example. He was 74, strong and independent. He hadn't seen a doctor in years because, in his words, "I feel great. Why would I need a checkup?" Then one day he started feeling exhausted for no reason. Walking up the stairs made him short of breath. His family insisted he see a doctor, and when he finally did, they found out his arteries were nearly blocked. He needed immediate surgery to avoid a fatal heart attack. If he had gone for routine checkups, this could have been caught much earlier. The truth is, many deadly conditions are completely preventable if caught early. A simple blood test can detect diabetes before it becomes serious. A routine screening can catch cancer in its early stages, when it's still treatable. Regular blood pressure checks can help prevent strokes before they happen. Prevention is always easier than treatment. If you haven't been to the doctor in over a year, make an appointment now. Don't wait for symptoms. By the time you feel something, it might be too late. Even if you think you're healthy, get your heart, blood pressure, cholesterol, and sugar levels checked regularly. When was the last time you had a full checkup? If it's been too long, don't ignore this any longer. Let me know in the comments, when will you schedule your next appointment? And keep watching, because the final mistake might be the most dangerous of them all. It's something that can destroy not just your body, but your entire sense of purpose in life. Most people spend their whole lives working hard, raising families, and pushing through responsibilities. But then something happens. Retirement comes, the kids move out, life slows down. And suddenly, without realizing it, many people fall into the most dangerous trap of all, losing their sense of purpose. You see, the human body isn't just fueled by food and exercise, it's fueled by meaning. Studies show that seniors who feel like they have a reason to wake up in the morning live longer, stay healthier, and are mentally sharper compared to those who drift through their later years without a clear purpose. But when people stop setting goals, stop learning, and stop challenging themselves, their health declines rapidly. Take William, for example. He was 78, retired for nearly a decade. At first, he enjoyed the free time, he traveled, relaxed, and did whatever he wanted. But over the years, he found himself doing less and less. His days started blending together. He had no real schedule, no hobbies that excited him, no responsibilities that gave him a sense of contribution. Eventually, he became depressed, withdrawn, and physically weaker. His doctors couldn't find anything medically wrong, because the real issue wasn't physical. It was emotional. He had lost his reason to keep going. The good news? You don't have to let this happen to you. Having purpose doesn't mean you need to start a new career or make big life changes. It simply means finding something that gives you a reason to get up in the morning. Maybe it's volunteering, mentoring younger people, learning a new skill, or even just setting small personal goals. Maybe it's growing a garden, writing down your life stories, or making sure you walk a certain number of steps each day. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it makes you feel engaged and alive. So ask yourself, what do you wake up for every day? If you don't have an answer, it's time to find one. And let me know in the comments, what's one thing that gives your life meaning right now? Because here's the truth. The people who stay mentally, emotionally, and physically strong aren't necessarily the ones with perfect health. They're the ones who never stop growing, never stop learning, and never stop finding reasons to live. Now you've made it this far. You know the 6 deadly mistakes that most people make as they age. But before you go, I have one final lesson, a twist that most people never see coming. This is the biggest regret people have in their final years, and you still have time to change it. Keep watching, because this might be the most important thing you ever hear. Now that we've uncovered the 6 deadly mistakes that cut lives short, here's the part that no one warns you about, the single biggest regret people have in their final years. And trust me, it's not what you think. People assume that when they look back on life, they'll regret not making more money, not buying a bigger house, or not achieving more success. But when researchers interviewed people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s about their biggest regrets, the most common answer was something far more personal. I wish I had spent more time with the people I love. Think about that for a second. Not, I wish I worked harder, or I wish I had more things. Just this simple, painful realization. The moments they once took for granted, the phone calls they didn't make, the conversations they postponed, the visits they kept putting off, were the moments that mattered the most. There's a reason why so many people on their deathbeds don't talk about careers, money, or possessions. Because in the end, none of that matters. What matters are the relationships, the shared laughter, the time spent truly being present with the people who mean the most. Let me tell you about Joyce. She was 82, a strong and independent woman who had lived life on her own terms. But in her final days, as she lay in a hospital bed, she wasn't thinking about the things she had accomplished. She was thinking about all the calls she never made, the family gatherings she skipped, and the friendships she let fade away. She told her grandson, "I thought I had more time." But time doesn't wait. And when it's gone, you don't get it back. So here's the question you need to ask yourself right now. Are you spending your time on what truly matters? Have you told the people you love how much they mean to you? Have you reached out to that old friend you keep thinking about? Have you made the most of today? Because no one lies on their deathbed wishing they had spent more time alone, watching TV, or scrolling through their phone. They wish they had laughed more, hugged more, and told the people they love how much they cared. So don't wait for a tomorrow that may never come. Pick up the phone. Make that visit. Say the words you've been meaning to say. Because in the end, the biggest mistake of all isn't what you did, it's what you didn't do. Now that you know the 6 deadly mistakes, and the biggest regret that people have in their final years, you have a choice. You can ignore everything you just heard and keep living the way you always have. Or you can take action today and change your future. The good news? It's never too late. If you've been getting out of bed too fast in the morning, start slowing down. Give your body time to adjust and reduce your risk of dangerous falls. If you've been skipping breakfast, rethink that habit. Your heart depends on it. If you've been straining in the bathroom, pay attention to your body and make small adjustments. If you've been isolating yourself, pick up the phone, make plans and stay socially active. If you've been avoiding checkups, make an appointment. Catching problems early can save your life. And if you've been drifting through your days without purpose, find something to look forward to, because life is still happening and you're still a part of it. But above all, don't wait until it's too late to connect with the people who matter. Call that friend. Hug your family. Say the words you've been meaning to say. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about living longer, it's about living well. If this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Which of these 6 mistakes surprised you the most? Which one are you going to change starting today? And if you want to keep learning life-changing lessons like this, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. Because in the next video, I'm going to reveal the biggest health lies that doctors don't tell you and how you can take control of your well-being starting right now. You're not done yet. Your best years can still be ahead of you if you choose to make them that way. Right now, you have an opportunity that many people don't get, the chance to change the course of your future while you still can. The truth is, aging doesn't have to mean decline. It doesn't have to mean loneliness, regret, or watching your health slowly fade away. It can mean wisdom, strength, and the freedom to enjoy life in a way you never have before. But that only happens if you make the decision today to take control. You've seen how small, everyday habits can have devastating consequences. You've heard the real stories of people who thought they had more time, until they didn't. Now, you know what to avoid and, more importantly, what to do instead. So here's my final challenge for you. Do one thing today, just one, that your future self will thank you for. Maybe it's waking up a little slower. Maybe it's making that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Maybe it's calling a loved one and telling them how much they mean to you. Whatever it is, do it now, because life doesn't wait. And if this video if it made you realize something about your own life, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose life you might change just by passing it along. Finally, before you go, make sure you're part of this community by hitting subscribe and turning on notifications. In the next video, we're going even deeper, uncovering the most common health myths that are keeping people sick and what you need to do to stay ahead. You don't want to miss it. Remember, every day is a new chance to live better, love more, and make the most of the time you have. Your best years aren't behind you, they're still ahead, waiting for you to claim them. So go out there and live. You deserve it.